think of how he left his home in glory, home in glory, came and dwelt among the lowly, such as I, to suffer shame and such disgrace. On Mount Calvary take my place. Then I asked myself a question: Who am I? Who am I? Who am I that the King would bleed and die for? Bleed and die for. Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Who not my will, thy Lord. Who am I? Who am I? The answer I may never know, why he ever loved me so, but to an old rugged cross he'd go. For who am I? Who am I? Who am I that the King would bleed and die for? Bleed and die for. Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Who not my will, thy Lord. Who am I? The answer I may never know, why he ever loved me so, but to an old rugged cross he'd go. For who am I? Who am I?
We want to thank God for allowing us to be here yet again to serve him. I told you yesterday that we serve a Lord that speaks. When he wants something to be done, he gives a command, he gives instructions. And he never keeps quiet when he sees those whom he loves are going astray. And so when sin entered, it was a very big tragedy. It caused man that used to hang around with the Lord not to do so anymore. Heaven would have given up, but heaven chose a very dangerous path to bring us back home. And so when Moses was commanded to tell Aaron and his sons about the law of the burnt offering, God was trying to bring to us on something that we could see. When you teach young people like this, you let them see those things. They are taught more by what they see. And since we have come down, God brought something that people will see and create a mental picture that nobody would say, I didn't know. So yesterday we said we have a God that speaks, and he instituted the law of the burnt offering. And we discussed 4 laws. What was number 1? You know I'm a teacher and I'm a teacher, just want to know where we are. Then I move on. Number 1, what was the first law? You must burn whole, completely. I'm leaving there. When I get time, I don't know whether I'll do it today. I will also tell you something about fire. But let's leave that one for some times. So you burn the thing completely. Whole. Not partially. And how I pray that we who are coming to the Lord, also this altar, must be completely burned. By the way, I'm not the one teaching stewardship. But I heard the pastor talk about it yesterday. You know, there's some of us who, I don't know whether it's out of ignorance or what we don't know, that you write tithe in your envelope, and even the amount you've written tithe, you know it's not tithe. So who are you playing games with? Because the word tithe means what? 10%. So if it is not 10%, why do you have the audacity, the courage again to go ahead and write 10%? Where do you get that courage? Who are you trying to con? The treasurer, the pastor, or who? Because God knows. You know, those of you who work in the banks, or those who work where people are paid, there's what we call a return. If the central government sends some money to a county or to a department, after they have paid people and they have signed, there's a return that goes back to prove that what you are given, you actually did what? Received. Without the returns, it's either it got lost in the way or it was mishandled. And by the way, a tithe is a return to God to let him know that he blessed you, and this is how there's a feedback telling that really of what I gave you, you actually did what? Received it. Hello? So you must burn it whole. Whatever was taken to the altar was not to be done partially. It was to be completely done. And I was just detouring a little bit saying that if you want to return a tithe and you indicate tithe, let it be what? But if you want to give an offering, that's up to you. You can give whatever percentage but even though the minimum is 10 plus, but you can give whatever you want. That's an offering. Because it tests your love to God. But the tithe tests obedience. It must be 10% and be called tithe, or it is not tithe. What was the second law? Normally when you burn something, there's smoke. That goes where? High. It tells people from far and wide that something is happening somewhere. Do you know why those companies that sell things spend a lot of money on the advertisement? Do you know why? Because they know the power of that thing being known far and wide, so that many people can buy it. So that whenever there is an offering, the smoke that goes high announces that something is happening. There's somebody who is burning something. We will let know what need to be burned. Then what was the third law? There is an aroma. There is a fragrance. It can be good. It can be bad. It is multi-directional. It goes behind you, ahead. And there's some of us, rightly or wrongly, that your aroma goes ahead of you or behind you. We will talk about that before we conclude. Then what was the fourth one? The peak of the 4 laws. For something to live, something must do what? Must die. You eat, you know there's some people who have leather shoes. You are protected, but something died. There's some of us who eat, and those things you eat, you actually kill them. You kill them so that you live. But when you come to the sanctuary services, an innocent animal that did not commit any crime will be offered wholly on the altar for the sake of the person who actually sinned. So the sinner walks scot-free and the innocent dies. A very sad story, but it's true. And I told you what I've seen happening in our country, Kenya. You can see a mother or a father going to pay school fees. And sometimes they don't come alive. But you can also see somebody going to do somewhat one of my teachers used to call monkey business. And they go and come back alive. And all of us who are here, this now you need to take into record. We are alive. Not because we are right. Not because we are eating well. Not because we observe the rules of health. Not because we are here because somebody has taken the cover to die for us. Now today, I would want us to go to the same book of Leviticus chapter 6. Verse 9. And pick 2 important things which perhaps tomorrow I will come to tell you something about fire. I want to read from the King James. Command Aaron and his sons, saying, this is the law of the burnt offering. It is the burnt offering because of the burning upon the altar all night unto the morning. And the fire of the altar shall be burning into it. Kindly let it be soft a little bit. It is sharp sound. The one at that place. And then you go to verse 13. Jump and read verse 13. The fire shall ever be burning upon the altar. It shall never what? Let's repeat that one again. The fire shall ever be burning upon what? The altar. It shall never go out. Now, let us explore something. Let us discover some few things. Then we will preach. Let's learn together. What is your understanding of the word night? There are several meanings of night. I want to see the ones we know. When I say the word night, what do you understand? You know, sometimes we look at the text in the Bible and we miss the hidden meanings. What is your understanding of the word night? I need an answer because I see the hand. I want to see a hand. Yes, sir. The normal one is when the sun sets. That period between the setting of the sun and the rising of the sun is called what? Night. Good. By the way, in the King James Version, the word night is used 313 times. And out of that 313 times, almost half refers to the night you are talking about. So you are right. Another one. Yes. Okay, there's this night that we refer to. There are two, but you said spiritual darkness. There's the night of sin, Dambi. In where I was, and I told you yesterday that I didn't ask anybody to let me be born there. So do not judge me upon where I'm coming from. I don't have any application I made. But that's where I grew up. Without myself choosing. But I chose to be an Adventist. And I chose to be a Christian. That you can take me to responsibility. If you wanted to be abused in that culture that I'm come from, that you are doing bad things, you will be called Majachilo. Now, that's what the very strong. When you are night, and you know that's why people refer to dark things, and some of us have been brainwashed to think so, as things that are not what. Likewise, when they do the Halloween, they paint, even those who are white paint themselves what? Black. Because there's been a feeling that dark things, and that's why you've seen some of us trying to remove their dark skin, because darkness sometimes is associated with the what? With bad things, ugly things, or with the what? Or with sin, or with evil. So sometimes you are a dark mind. That means you know how to conceive sin. And by the way, it is very clear also that the Bible acknowledges, if you read Isaiah 59, now somebody can read that one, 59 verse 10, and I'm thinking I'm not wrong. Check with me your Bible. And when you move a little bit, Isaiah is alluding to this fact. Yes, 59 verse 10. Isaiah is alluding to this fact that really sin and the darkness, by the way. Those of you who go to steal most times, when do you like stealing? Now, those of us who like going to what you go on and doing, like those who like Koinange Street, when is Koinange Street most active? During the time, most active. Those of you who knows when people want to go and do some sin of either adultery or fornication, what time is the most conducive time for it? By the way, they say it at night, all colors agree. It's only now that you can see those who have bright colors and who are what. But if you remove the light now and it becomes dark, it will all be the same. Whether you make your hair or you don't make. Whether you are bald-headed or you are whatever-headed. Whether you wear a tie or you wear a t-shirt. It will, at night, all colors agree. Can somebody read Isaiah 59 verse 10? It says, I was taught, and I still believe, I have high regard for the Bible. No, thank you. Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Continue. Can't continue reading. Why are you stopping? And I'm not told you. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Just move on. I'm here to stop you. Go ahead there. After finish that one, then you stop. Yes. So when you check the tone of Isaiah, that night is referring to is the night of sin. By the way, sin has brought light out. Remember, when there was no sin, we were walking with God, and when we were with God, we were no darkness. But when sin came in, we started doing things that you can tremble what human beings are capable of doing. Even those who are here. What we are capable of doing here. Not outside there, here. One day we were in Kamagambo. Some of you, I was a chaplain of Kamagambo. And we had groups that would go out to do evangelism, several places. And I didn't know why some group wanted to go very far distant places. Until one day I joined a group going far. And when the bus had gone far, we were forced to come back late. And coming late, it was dark. And then when we were about to reach, something happened. Somebody was sick and wanted to vomit. So we were forced to put on the light into the bus. The bus driver has since died. When the light was put on, and we were able to see what was happening at the back of the bus, I trembled. Kumbe, people are going fast so that when they come at night at the back of the seats, they were turning them to little places. They would cuddle, they would kiss, they would touch, and they knew it. They will go at the back. They are from doing evangelism. And they are coming in a bus written Kamagambo Adventist College bus. And at the back, because it's dark, what are they doing? And when I was a pastor in Homa Bay, and there was somebody who told me, Pastor, when I was in Homa Bay, I was tiny. They don't know why I stopped singing at night. I can reveal it today. Those of you know that church, the pastors, and at that time I was a pastor when I was not married. You know, I've been a pastor from my teenager. That time I was not married. So I was a single pastor, and those who know, next to this side is the upstall, and the nurses' quarters are my immediate neighbors. So they were singing at night, and one nurse happened to have locked her bedroom, and when the husband came, he was told by the children, Mama menda wapi? Choir. And this is very near. But the mother went with the what? The key of the bedroom. So innocently, the gentleman came to the church, to the choir, to take the what? And he looked into the choir, there was no woman. Now, I'm giving the dirtiest part of it. So since he didn't get the woman where? So he came to whose house now to check? Because the pastor is single. The pastor is a youth. So I had somebody knocking at, there's some knock that will tell you something is behind this knock. It's a little bit rough and hasty. I looked, I opened the door and I saw somebody say, Pastor, is my wife here? Then I scratched my head. What business at night would I want to do with somebody's wife? So, she has no my key. I've checked there. The wife was there. I don't want to get the long story short. Let me leave it there for you to fill in the blank. But it was because of this lady who leave home almost on everyday basis that she was going to the what? The choir. But she would go somewhere else, be there. When the time of the choir is over, she will come back home. And from what? You know, darkness and sin in many times goes together. Because some of us have dark minds. We want to imagine things. And so, at darkness, sin may refer to be as what? As darkness or as night. Now we will come to that one. Is there any other third possible meaning of the word night? Is there any other? Yes. This we can take two. And this is what is referred to in the book of Psalms 30 verse 5. Part section B. Weeping may endure in the night, but joy cometh in the what? In the morning. So it's true what you're saying. It can also refer to trouble. When you are not having problems, when you're having problems, even your day can be turned to night. I met somebody, I don't want to say that prophecy. I met somebody carrying a baby when I was coming here. That lady greeted me, giving me some, said, you know, I said, who's this one you're carrying? This is the first daughter, first baby. I don't know whether daughter or one. I was not able to see. You know, these days they dress children until you may not know who is who. But I was told that's your firstborn. This baby being carried. Now, you are here and your phone is on. Suppose now while you're here, you receive a message in that phone that is on, that something has happened to that girl. You will continue sitting here. It will be very light to you. You will be enjoying the sermon. You will see darkness, even though it is what? It's daytime. But maybe night can also refer to that time when things are not going well with you. And almost all of us, there comes a time when things do not add up. Whether it is in your marriage, whether it's in your workplace, whether it's in your community, whether it's your neighborhood, there comes a time when things are not adding up. And sometimes you find yourself being alone, being misunderstood, and being misjudged. But now let's come back. We have taken those three. I would have added the time one more. Even the time of trouble is called night. The one that is pending, that is coming on. It's also referred, it will be a dark place. But now let's go to the text here. The writer, with those three or more possible explanations of the word night, continue to insist that even though there are dark times, even though there is little night, even though there is sin, even though you are going through the trouble, what must not be left not to be happen is what? The fire must never do what? Go out. It must continually burn. At night, whether it is between sunset to sunrise, the fire will be there. Whether you have a problem, the fire will be there. Whether there is sin, of course, that's when we need the fire more, because it's take care of sin. The fire must continually burn on the what? On the altar. Whichever way you look at it, God had commanded that that fire must never be put out so long, if sin is there, that fire must be there. So long there's darkness, of course, we still need that fire. And even when you're going through hard time, you know, there's some of us. I don't know whether that lady is here because I want to talk of somebody that she knows. One day, I was serving at Ronan. And one of our workers, retirees, the husband of that lady died. And when she died, as expected, Pastor Ben Nyamache, because the retiree, that was somebody directed to us, we went to console the family and to arrange the funeral services. We went, the three of us. We found the lady there. The husband had died. There was mourning all over. People were doing, and you know, the Luos, I think is leading this. Other tribes are following them. When somebody dies, that is a big thing. Harambes will be done. Monies will be collected. Cows will be slaughtered. People will go in numbers. No, it is not a small thing. It's a big thing. It's also a big business. You used to just normally kusanya viti from the villages. No longer so. There are people who now know there's time to make business. They will bring chairs. We used to ask women to cook. No, now there are special people who do what? Who cook. There are a lot of business when there's death. Believe you me. There's a lot of feasting. So when we went there, and we made arrangements, and we did what we could, when we were just about to leave, the woman said, no, Pastor, wait a little bit. You know, my son that works outside has sent me some money. That money, there's some tithe. And my husband has just died. If I keep this money, I must use it what? For the funeral. Please take this with you to the conference. And I marveled until I read this text, that the fire of the altar of the burnt offering must keep on doing what? Whether somebody is dead or not. Were they stopping it if somebody died? Those of you who know the Bible. If somebody died in Israel, will the daily sacrifice and the one that must be burned at night stop? When somebody was sick in hospital and have bills, would that one stop the fire from going on? When somebody was divorced, would that stop the fire from burning? What would stop it? Nothing. I will only tell you what will stop it when we will end, when there's a change and rollover. But there was nothing that would stop the fire from burning. You know that some of us look for the slightest excuse for even not attending church. The slightest excuse. A small malaria, I'm sick. As if they come to church, they'll die. And somebody visiting you, and you know, my guest came. As if the Lord is not a guest in every day in your home. We look for any slight thing. Not to attend church, but also not to do what? To offer ourselves as living sacrifices. To be burnt completely and wholly on the altar of God. I'm glad today to announce to you that when the sanctuary message service was being established, God had instructed, no, commanded, yes, that the fire must burn. During what? Daytime. And what time also? Night. There was nothing to keep that fire out. And I don't know, we who are Christians, are our fires burning continually? How is our commitment? Is it there? But I want to let you know that the cover of God is there. Whether you are a sinner, he still loves sinners. And that's why he died for them. That's why he wants them to live. Even if you are whatever. You know, when you read in Wendenyasai and in Ogotera, it's 184. But in English, I don't know, the title is Chief of Sinners, though I be. Paul came to understand this concept. Chief of sinners, though I be, what happened for me? Somebody has already done what? Died to take care of my sins. So you will not have an excuse saying, you know, I'm so bad, that's why I escaped to commit my life to Christ, because it is those who are sinners that he died for them this way. So what excuse will you have? The fire of the gospel of Christianity must be continually burning. Whether we have elections or no elections. Whether what happened, those will, you know, there are things that people take so seriously. And they think those will make the fire not to burn. But I will let you know, the fire must do what? And there's something about fire, which I'll tell you tomorrow. Because my time cannot allow me. Let me tell you only one thing about fire. When fire burns anything, and tomorrow, where's that gentleman? I want you to carry with you 2 pieces of paper, or 3, and a matchbox. Yes, you have heard me loud and clear. I want to let you know something about fire. But let me give you only one. I'll bring you several things about fire. But one thing about the fire, that fire burns things going this way. It does not burn people coming backward. If you force the fire to come backward, it dies. Fire burns going ahead. And so the gospel The Christianity, the fire of Christianity must continue to be ablaze. Even in this town, you are here to let people know somebody has died to cover us and make us be better people because he is the one who created us at the beginning. And that's why the fire. Whether you're in school, is the fire burning in school if you're a Christian? Is your fire burning in school? What about at your workplace? What about at night? Do you stop being a Christian at night? When the koinange, when the whatever you want to do. I thank God for this text. It has two applications. The first one is that God, whether it is darkness or night, has made the provisions to cover sinners. But the word atonement is to cover. He has put a cover by the death of his only begotten Son. And that is what we call Christ righteousness. He has given us a cloth. We value clothes, and people like dressing. But there's one cloth that never gets old, that never comes out of fashion, that don't need to be washed every day. That was done once and for all. That will cover a sinner, whether a small one or a medium or a larger one or whatever size of sinner you are. That provision is there day and what? You don't need like banks that close, like supermarket that closes, that at night now you cannot have services. The services are provided 24/7 all through the year. God has made provisions to cover you and you too. The second application. What about you if you're a Christian? Are you a Christian when things are rosy? Are you a Christian when you are promoted only? Are you a Christian when it's daytime? Are you a Christian when people see you? No. This one tells me we must maintain that Christianity at night, whether it is the normal darkness, when we have problems, when we are sick, when there is death, when we are removed from job, when there are problems in the home, we will continue to serve him, whether it is so dark. Because by the way, those of you who knows, and we will see, I think it's on Thursday and Friday, when the changeover takes place. And when you read the spirit of prophecy that I am a strong believer in, he will come when it is dark. With those darkness as two applications. When the world has reached in a place, I was in the US not long ago. You know, I've watched what you've done there. You have put gents and what? Now that's a big one now in the US. They say, no, you cannot. I choose where to go. You cannot tell me gents or whatever. I go where I want to go. There are those who are women and men at the same time. So they don't want to baguzi. So they don't have this business, men or women, male and female. No way. They will go anywhere. So you go there, you expect ladies, you find a man in the loo. Now the world is coming sick. And when I went by the beach, their way to showing them, you will see two ladies, one hugging and kissing the other. One is a husband, one is a wife. How do you know them? The husband one has changed the hair color. But they're all women. Kissing and hugging and touching. That's the husband. Then there's another one who's a wife. But they're all women. The world is true. When you see sin coming up and becoming thick and darker, that is the time when you know our master is just about to come to set things right. But also, it will be at night, the little night. It will come like a ball. But at each time it moves, so that when there is darkness, you can see it better. The whole world will see him come to bring light to this dark world. Hallelujah. So whichever darkness you say, the Lord will also come with that darkness. That's why the fire must go on. Burning at what times? All the night and what? And all the day. My friend, time will not allow me to go further. But I want you to start thinking. What kind of Christians are you? Are you wholly committed to God? Do you keep Christianity, your light burning. This little lamp of mine. I was expecting you to tell me, sing, this little lamp of mine. This little lamp of mine. Let it. Yes, it must, even though little, you must brighten the corner because you know you are of a different brand. You are made to be burning day and night.